The second trailer for Pokémon Scarlet and Violet is here, and gives us a brand new look at the region, as well as the Pokémon and people we can expect to meet here, as well as showing off the brand new legendaries. Let's get into it, shall we? The first new things we are shown are the professors for this region. While there are 2 professors, each one is locked to a version of the game. Scarlet will feature Professor Sada, who represents the themes of the past, with her outfit resembling that of a cave woman, with its torn ends and jewelry made of teeth and bones. She definitely has a more tribal look to her. In Violet, we'll have Professor Turo, who will represent the themes of the future with his slick, futuristic bodysuit. Now, one thing I couldn't help but notice about these new professors is that if you remove their lab coats, I think that they'd make for great evil team leaders. I mean, don't you think it'd be cool if the unused professor turned out to be the evil team leader in the opposite version? I just think it'd be really cool if in Pokémon Scarlet you had Turo as the main villain. His evil team could all wear similar futuristic jumpsuits to him, and use more man-made Pokémon such as Porygon or the Rotom forms. Meanwhile, in Pokémon Violet, Sada would be the evil team leader, with her team wearing more tribalistic uniforms, and use Pokémon that have gone extinct, such as the fossil Pokémon or the Hisuian forms. But I think that's enough speculation on these professors for now. Moving on, we get another look at the starters from what seems to be their introduction cutscene, although we don't see any of their evolutions. And based on what we've seen so far, I still like Fuecoco the most. My only real hope for these starters is that they don't all get anthropomorphized like in the previous generation. We are then introduced to the new rival for this region, whose name is Nemona. We see her using a new Pokemon called Palmy, who seems to be the Pikachu clone of this generation, and looks to be a cross between a hamster and a chinchilla. I've never really cared much for the Pikachu clones since none of them really evolve, and I'm expecting the same for this one. Although I do find it interesting that this is the second generation in a row where the main rival uses the Pikachu clone as their main Pokemon, since the previous generation also had Marnie, who used Morpeko. So I'm wondering if this is going to be a new trend with future Pokemon games, where the rival's main Pokemon will just be the Pikachu clone of the generation. And while there is a new Pokemon being shown here, all I could really focus on is the fact that the door in the background looks like a chocolate bar. I can't be the only one that sees that, right? Lose yourself in the creamy decadence of this all-new chocolate experience from the world's leading chocolatiers. No other door tastes like Lindor. Up next, we get what might be my favorite thing revealed in this trailer, which is that it looks like you'll be able to play this game co-op in the open world, as we see 4 trainers all interacting with one another before running off in separate directions. So I'm hoping that means that we'll actually get to be able to play with our friends in this huge open world and go off on our own adventures, while still being able to interact with one another. And hopefully it isn't just like Sword and Shield, where you could just see random people running around in the wild area. Plus, this part also confirmed that following Pokemon are returning, and they're not going to be locked behind DLC like they were in Sword and Shield, or completely removed once again like in Legends Arceus, which hopefully that remains the case in that following Pokemon is just a staple from here on out, because there is no reason for them to keep removing it and then adding it back but only as paid DLC. Just keep following Pokemon in the main games. Although there was one thing shown here that had me slightly concerned, that being the lack of customization amongst the other trainers. While yes, it looks like you'll be able to change your hat, shoes, and bag, the standard uniform is the same amongst all 4 trainers. The only difference being some have short sleeves and the other have long sleeves. And while I do understand that the designs are meant to represent a school uniform, I just think it looks so bland. And if you're really unable to change this beyond having short or long sleeves, then that will be a huge disappointment, especially considering the customization available in previous games. Up next, they show off yet another new Pokemon called Smoliv, which is this tiny green olive-like Pokemon. And I mean, come on, they just have to make the shiny form a black olive, right? Now at first I thought this was a bit of a bland design, and when it was in the overworld I mistook it for a Petalil at first. But this design has grown on me. The expressions this Pokemon makes are just adorable, and at this point I'm just sort of hoping that it evolves into a more monstrous grass-type Pokemon similar to Breloom, rather than the overly feminine grass-type Pokemon that we've been receiving the past few generations. But then we see what is perhaps the most popular Pokemon revealed in this trailer, being Lechonk. Wait a minute, you're not Lechonk, you're Lechub. Sorry about that. Here's Lechonk, which is this adorably cute pig Pokemon. And while yes, it is a bit basic, that's part of the charm to it, I think. This definitely reminds me of the pigs in Wind Waker, at least. although I'm not expecting it to remain this cute once it evolves. Since most of these early area Pokemon always have disappointing evolutions, the rest of the trailer then just shows off other areas of the world, and I have to admit I'm not too impressed. The only unique thing that's really been shown off is this tower in the desert, but other than that I haven't really seen anything that grabs my attention and makes me want to go explore. But we'll just have to wait and see how Pokemon manages to pull off the open world, and hopefully it's as fun to explore and traverse as Breath of the Wild was. The trailer then ends on a cinematic showing off the new legendaries of these games. For Scarlet, we have Koraidon, which is this really regal-looking lizard, and Violet has Miraidon, which has a very sleek and robotic-looking design. And while I do really like both of these designs, if I had to pick a favorite, I think it would have to be Miraidon, although that's only due to the fact that Koraidon has like a giant tire stuck to its throat, and I just really don't like how that looks on the Pokemon. And at first I didn't like Miraidon because I thought it looked too man-made and synthetic, but then I remembered that Porygon is also a synthetic Pokemon, and that Miraidon is just a more modern evolution of the concept behind Porygon, assuming it is man-made, or has at least been enhanced with man-made technology. And I think that even though I do like Miraidon slightly more, I will be going with Scarlet, though that's mostly due to the fact that my girlfriend prefers Miraidon over Koraidon, which means that she'll get Violet, leaving me with Scarlet. And that about wraps up the new information we got from this second trailer. While we still don't know what the new gimmick of this generation will be, or what the starters will evolve into, I found that this trailer showed off enough. We got to see some of the early game Pokemon that will be available, as well as the new box art legendaries. But what did you think about this new trailer? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching.